everybody. Welcome to the Ronline Report. Today's guest needs no introduction, but I'll introduce him anyway. He is 8-time Mr. Olympia, living legend, Lee Haney. How are you, sir?
I'm doing great, Ron. How's everybody doing out there? Woo!
I think everyone's doing great. We got the Olympia coming up. Everybody's excited, but first let's talk about what you got going on. You have just released your second book, correct?
Fourth, Ron.
Fourth one. I'm way behind.
Yeah, whoa, way behind. I've been around for a long time, you know.
Oh, that's right. I have your training book over on my. That's from like the '80s. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, tell me about the new book, Lee, please.
Well, the new book is called Fit at Any Age. I've been working on this book for quite some time now, and one of the things that I'd like to emphasize here is that fitness as it looked, over 40 is not the same as it looked for 20 or 19 and that sort of deal. So I wanted to create an exercise and nutritional product that people can use that to help manage age, so to speak. Of course, I don't go in the gym and slam 100-pound dumbbells around anymore. Fit to feel good these days. And then there's something that we use to manage age too that I highly recommend and use myself. It's functional training.
Okay.
Whereby I use medicine balls, light dumbbells, kettlebells, ropes, those kinds of things. And so that lends itself to the masses. So this book is not made for hardcore bodybuilding, although it is made for people who are, and hopefully still is, Lee Haney followers, who are now 58 and older like I am, but is looking for a way to stay in shape, to stay functional, and to manage their age. That's what Fit at Any Age is all about.
So is this an instructional book? It's got, photos and all that stuff, tell you how to do everything?
Right. It is instructional in the way of the training technique, form, nutrition, different type of tips. We have testimonials of people who are shared information in the book about their fitness journey. We have recipes. We have talk about age management, supplementation. As you see here, the book, can you see it there, Ron?
Yeah, you can hold it right up to your webcam if you want.
As you see here, we have a combination of different age groups on the book, and these people that I've worked with in the past. One is Bill DePrano. Bill is 91. He's a gray-haired gentleman here.
91,
he throws the javelin.
You say? 91?
Yeah, 91. He throws the javelin and the discus. His wife, Jeannie, standing beside her, she's the white-haired young lady here. She's 80. She holds a world record in running a mile under 7 minutes.
Wow.
And then you have Paulette here and her husband, Nathaniel. He's 68. She's 65. Then you have Jacqueline. Jacqueline is the NPC competitor. She retired. She's now 57. I think I've gotten her talked into coming out of retirement. So she's going to be gracing the stage again in the Masters. And she is beautiful. Then you have Shirley, not my wife Shirley, but a young lady that trained and one of my friends over the years. She is 70 and still doing chin-ups.
My goodness.
Incredible shape. Then my buddy the Prez here holding the rope with the white hair. I call him the Prez because he looked like Bill Clinton. So I have a combination of people in different age groups in the book. And the book can be purchased at Barnes & Nobles, Amazon, Kobo. So people international wanting the book, they can get it also. So I'm very proud of this particular book. I got another one that I'm in the process of working on for the bodybuilding community. But for Lee Haney fans that are now 58, 60, just like I am, this is an excellent book for you. And I'll be at the Mr. Olympia showcasing the book there along with my certification organization, the International Association of Fitness Science. And matter of fact, we give the book away. This is part of the study guide for becoming, getting the functional training certification program. So it sort of talks to the trainer about how you would deal with a person who may be 50 and over and older when it comes to training. Doesn't look the same, so you have to be educated in how to do that properly.
Without giving away all the secrets of the book, just in a nutshell, someone's over 50 years old and they've been training like a bodybuilder most of their life, and now they got a lot of aches and pains and injuries. What kind of adjustments would you recommend for this person so they can keep staying in great shape without doing any further damage to them, to their joints and so on?
Well, one thing I advise using lighter dumbbells. And again, my philosophy over the years has always been train to stimulate, not annihilate.
Yeah.
And so what I would do, I do resistance band training using resistance band for standing chest presses. I do light dumbbells, kettlebells, for things like squats, stiff leg deadlifts, those kinds of things, presses. I basically use a particular movement, maybe one or two for each body part, but keeping the rep range around 15 reps, some as high as 20 reps with a weight that's pretty light. When I use the functional training style routines, I may use 15 pounds. That's enough. And again, that's enough to activate the muscle, to keep that metabolism up, to get good blood flow without stretching the joints out. Because at this point, the goal is not to win the Mr. Olympia or the NPC Nationals. It's about staying alive and maintaining functionality. So keep the weight light, use movements whereby it's going to enhance your functionality. And all of the exercises that I talk about in the book, you're in a standing motion, which is normal. Because generally, when you talk about managing age, you never sit on your butt and lay on your back and do a bench press. What purpose does it have? Squatting, yes, we squat down, we stand back up, we push a shopping cart, we pull a tree limb, or we push a lawnmower, we carry the vacuum cleaner. All of these things are done on your feet. Yeah. That's why we call it functional training, which enhances functionality. That's what this book is all about, which is what we need to manage our age. Not a bench press. That'll rip your shoulders apart. Matter of fact, it's been probably, I maybe used the bench press maybe twice this past year. And that's normally when I'm doing a IFS training seminar where I show proper form and technique. Most of the time I have a youngster show proper form and technique.
Yeah, you should be on the microphone. Let them do the demonstrating.
Exactly.
And as far as nutrition, I know we talked in the past about, you don't eat the same volume of food that you did in your younger years when you were trying to be Mr. Olympia and carry 250 lean pounds of muscle. Do you advise most older people, like, former bodybuilders, to sort of decrease their food intake volume as well?
Oh, no doubt about it. At this point in your stage in your life, you don't need as much protein and as many carbohydrates because your activity level isn't as high as it was during that era. So your body's not craving those additional calories either. So the body automatically says, hey, this is enough. So I like to think of it in the way of in and out foods, food that digests fast, it's in and out of your system, that don't hang around for long periods of time. Chicken and fish is top of the line along with eggs. So those are the top list there when it comes to protein. Yeah. And of course, I lean now more towards vegetables style proteins, such as beans, quinoa, lentils, those kinds of things. So I highly recommend that. And again, they carry fiber, they're in and out. A lot of green leafy vegetables, fruits, such as berries, blueberries, blackberries, also pineapple, which is an excellent anti-inflammatory, cherries, things like that help, give cellular assistance. And then also green leafy vegetables, which is high in fiber that flushes waste out of the body. And plenty of water. I make sure, as you see the guys walking around in the gym, they got their bottle of water. I don't walk around with a gym with a jug of water. Me and Arnold, we never did that, or Franco. We don't do that. But the guys do it now, and I like the fact that they are drinking water, but, I don't carry a jug around, but I make sure in the morning I have, a full 16.9 ounces of water, time I get out of the bed, and before lunch I've had another one. So I get at least around 8 to 10 glasses in a day because water is very important for the entire health of the overall body.
Now the gallon water jugs, Lee, this is a 24 ounce, can you see it? This is a 24 ounce bottle. I go through that when I'm training, and I drink a lot of water. I can't imagine anybody needs a full gallon of water unless maybe they're in the desert or doing wind sprints out in Arizona or something. Who needs a gallon of water?
Yeah, that's a little bit over the deal, 8 to 10 glasses, that's good. Other than that, you'll be peeing all day,
Now, I know you were never a big fan of red meat. Do you think red meat is an even worse idea for someone who's in their 40s, 50s, and beyond?
Oh, for sure. It stays in your gut for 48 hours. And a healthy person, I mean, as if someone who's struggling with weight and trying to get rid of weight, I do not recommend red meat. If you're going to have it once in the blue moon, hey, okay, fine. Make sure you follow up with lots of green leafy veggies. And I always stress pineapple and plenty of water to try to flush it through your system. But I mean, who wants to take in a big dose of saturated fat?
Well,
Which, hey, man, you're over 40, so you got to be smart. Whereby if you use the egg, you have lecithin and choline in the egg, which really have their own fat burning properties. That's in the yellow.
yeah.
So it's in and out of the system at a faster period of time, and it's a excellent form of quality protein.
Okay. So in addition to the book, Fit at Any Age, you're also working right now on the production of your 5th annual, am I correct, Lee Haney Games?
Yes, this is the fourth year.
Oh, this is
Fourth year.
14, 15, 16, 17. Okay. Yeah, I thought I saw a flyer that went back as far as 2014 on that.
Well, you saw what you did see. It really goes back further than that because it first started out as Lee Haney Fitness Challenge,
Okay.
which was strongman. It was kids flipping tires, that sort of thing. And we introduced the bodybuilding side to it about 4 years ago.
Okay.
So now we've added the physique games in it, which is fantastic. But this year, we're only doing the physique because physique has gotten so big. And we had over 370 athletes last year.
Wow.
So we were looking at maybe over 400 this year. So we've divided up into 2 days now. You have a full day of Friday being given to men and a full day Saturday being dedicated to females. So that way, everybody get a chance to show their hard work and dedication. The judges get a chance to give them a real fair shake at showcasing all of the hard work and dedication. Now, as the athlete, I want to make sure I'm being treated fairly. I want the very best of critique, and I want the facility to be nice too. So, bar none, we held nothing back in bringing a first-class production to the athletes.
Yeah, I mean, I looked online. This Georgia International Convention Center in College Park, that's a major venue.
Oh, it's a beautiful, beautiful place. And
this is not a high school auditorium.
no. This is the Ritz. This is the Ritz called to those physique shows.
Yeah. Okay. So it's specific, it's purely now a national qualifier NPC event. You're not doing strongman, arm wrestling, any of that stuff anymore?
No, we're not doing that. Not this year. We may bring something back, but not this year. But what we are doing, I am about kids. We do have the Fit Kids Zone. That'll be set up. So we have, interactive play for kids, the push-ups, the chin-ups, the jumping jacks, name it, we got it. Okay. So we're always pro kids with everything that I do because this is the fundraiser for Haney's Harvest House, which is the nonprofit organization that this feeds funding to.
Yeah, I didn't know if the Harvest House, has that continually been going on since you started it?
Oh, yeah, that's been going on, God, years ago. Matter of fact, a lot of people don't know it, but Arnold and Danny Glover was two of the first people to honor me by having proceeds sent to Haney's Harvest House.
No, I did not know that.
So a lot of people don't know that, but yes, hats off to Arnold. He's always been just a great man. And of course, Danny Glover, a great friend. So I really want to say thank you to them. And also Chick-fil-A. They've always been with us too, still with us. Dan Cathy, his father, Truett Cathy, have always had a heart for the community. And they're right here in the Atlanta College Park area. And then another strong friend is where you got Ken Melvin and Ron Hemmergarden. These are Ken is from Utah. Then you have Ron Hemmergarden. The Hemmergarden Racing Team won the Indy 500. And then we got another gentleman here, Alan Vigil Ford. He's one of the biggest dealerships around here. So he's been with me from day one longer than anybody. So we got some great people involved in what we do.
Excellent. And information can be found at LeeHaneyGames.com.
Right, LeeHaneyGames.com. You see the sponsors there. And hey, guess what? This year, High Tech Pharmaceuticals.
Yeah.
As you know, high tech is big with muscle development. So Jared Wheat, who's the founder, owner of High Tech Pharmaceuticals, he said, Lee, look, it makes sense to be on board with you right here in Atlanta because Jared is here too. So we have them on board with us now. Steve Harvey's with us for the first 3 years of our title sponsor. Now we had Jared Wheat to step up and said, listen, I got the reins from here. So we were very honored to have them on board with us.
I have one of their shirts on. It's actually more applicable to you. It says, I am mesomorph.
Hey, Ron, I'll give you some props, man. We are mesomorphs.
Well, I mean, if I think about pure mesomorphs, I'm going off on a tangent here. The names that come to mind is bodybuilders who are pure mesomorphs. I would say Lee Haney, Sergio Oliva, Casey Viator, probably Steve Reeves, and you can maybe name like 2 or 3 more, and that's it. Everyone else probably had a little bit of endomorph or ectomorph characteristics, but there's a core group of great champion bodybuilders like yourself that were what I consider 100% pure mesomorphs. They were just structure, muscle bellies, everything was just as good as you could possibly want them to be. Ronnie, I would say Ronnie. I would put Ronnie in that category too. Dorian.
Well, Ron is a cyclops. Ron is a cyclops. You put an eye in the middle of his head. He's something from a whole nother world.
That is true. Well, we have the Mr. Olympia contest coming up in 2.5 weeks now, and this will be hopefully another historic occasion. You won 8 titles and retired in 1991, and Ronnie won his 8th title in 2005. Kept going for a year or 2 after that, and very few of us ever thought we'd ever live to see anybody else win 8 Mr. Olympia titles. But 3 weeks from this Saturday night, we could see Phil Heath do it again. What do you think his chances are?
Well, I tell you what, Phil he's, as I said last year and the year before that, he's master peaking. And once you can master peaking and you have all of the other things in the way of a quality physique what the judges like, then you're there for a long time until somebody can step up and match that. But more than match it, they have to surpass who Phil is. I guess the only person I see right now that may be close to doing that, it would be Big Ramy. He is the only one because Ramy is huge at the same time. He got very good lines. Yeah. He don't have a big gut and a big blocky waist. Right. Everything on him is big. So, and his presentation was excellent too. So I really liked his posing too. He's done a great job with that. So beauty's in the eye of the beholder. Phil is mastered peak. I think Ramy has mastered peaking too. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens. I think Phil have to be careful in that he don't try to match Ramy muscle for muscle. You cannot match Ramy for muscle to muscle. So Ramy have to play his game and be at his best at it. But Phil has to stay in his category and continue to tweak who he is because he's top of the line, the best at who he is now. Nobody under him is learned the art of peaking as he has.
Now, who else in the Mr. Olympia lineup, who are your personal favorites physique-wise? When you look at the lineup of guys, and I'll just read off some names, you tell me who catches your attention as someone who you think really represents the ideals of what bodybuilding should be in your opinion?
Well, Dexter Jackson, I love Dexter. He's always on time. Yeah. And particularly to be his age now, which he just goes to show that age is just a number for him. Yeah. He's still healthy. He looks great. And what's so cool about the blade is he stayed within his category of who he is. He kept his line, that nice, beautiful waist. Everything on the blade looked beautiful. Yeah. So is it enough to knock off Phil? I don't know. You don't know until you see them standing side by side on the stage and see last year with them standing side by side. Then you had Ramy. So which one do you pick? Ramy he's not Dexter. He's not Phil. So it depends on what the judges are looking for. Yeah. You have the best of the best of both worlds there.
Well, how about not necessarily who's going to win the show, but who are some physiques? Like, I know you were a big fan of Cedric a couple of years ago. Cedric, someone
But not William Bernat, man.
Okay.
I love him.
Oh, okay.
Man, he got some beautiful lines. He's continuing to mature quality wise. You know, he comes in ripped, shredded. Everything is where it needs to be. I like him a lot. I like him a whole lot. And then of course, you know, for Cedric, you just never know.
Yeah.
You don't know what's going to show up. I watch guys get better and better and better. That's how I measure it.
Okay.
I've seen Remy get better and better. I've seen Banach get better and better. I've seen Dexter not slide back. He's continued to get better. Then you got Sean Roden. Sean looks great. I love the package he brought to the stage last year. He was working on getting a little bit more thickness in his back. That's sort of where he lacked a little, but you better believe he worked on that and brought it up. What I saw last year, I was very impressed. He got some beautiful lines.
Yeah, he does. Yeah.
Yeah.
One thing, I don't know if I ever asked you this, when Ronnie Coleman tied your record in 2005, you know, how did that feel personally to you? Were you happy for him? Was it kind of bittersweet because now somebody's actually, you didn't have the record anymore alone, now you had to share it with somebody?
Now I've been having to share with 3 guys. Now I'm very depressed. Well, Shirley's hiding alcohol from me, you know.
Oh, boy, goodness gracious.
Now, if I was serious point is, you know, when you work that hard and you know as a champion what it took to get there, you have to just give respect and honor to guys who've done that, you know. I mean, you look at the price that Ronnie paid to do it.
Yeah.
I mean, that's man, that's a once in a lifetime deal. But I know what he went through, and now you look what he's going through now. It was hard work. He's a gladiator. That's what we do. I'm not saying I wouldn't have done it. I just found a way to do it without having to get injured in that way, you know, after the sport. But would I've done it again? We're gladiators. That's what gladiators do. You put us in a pit and we fight it out, you know, to the death. That's what gladiators do. You know, so, you know, as Phil tied the record, if he breaks the record, then hats off to it. So I knew what it took to get there.
Yeah, I've asked Ronnie, you know, Ronnie says he has no regrets. He's getting around in a wheelchair now, and he's looking at his eighth surgery. I think it's going to be his 6th spinal surgery.
Mm-hmm.
The screws in his back keep breaking.
Yeah.
And he's been in all kinds of pain and debilitated states. And, you know, he doesn't believe that he could have looked the way he needed to look to win the Mr. Olympia 8 times, training any other way. And I'm not arguing with him, but just for the sake of argument, Lee, do you think it's possible that Ronnie could have looked the same way he looked had he trained more in your style and less like his style?
Well, you know, it all depends on your faith level connected with your level of science. See, science. I learned how to stimulate fast twitch fiber development through using lighter weight. I learned the science of that through my good friend, Dr. Fred Hatfield, which Fred is no longer with us. Fred showed me the science of how to get the job done without ripping your joints apart. I mean, even after squatting over 1,000 pounds, Fred had no knee, hip, back replacement whatsoever. You squatted 1,000 pounds and you were 46 years old? Please. If a guy understands that, then I want to know what he knows. I spent countless hours with Dr. Fred Hatfield at the Weider Center when I lived there in California. I mean, a long time. And then Fred lived in Atlanta at one time, right there, and he set up there in my office in Atlanta when I had my other fitness centers there, the Animal Kingdom.
Yeah.
So I've been a pupil of the science with Fred for a long time. So beyond the knowledge that I gotten from Robbie, Frank Zane and Arnold and, you know, Roy Callender, all these great legends over the years, I was able to tap into the science of sports science of developing fast twitch fiber through ballistic style training without using 8 million pounds. So if you can still achieve the same objective without ripping your joints out, then that's what you want to do. That's what I was able to do. That's what I did with Evander Holyfield. That's what I did with Sean Bradley. We put muscle on these guys and size without them getting injured. They even became even more explosive in their sports games. I developed fast twitch fiber without any injuries to my joint. I've never been injured. So, but you got to understand the science. And see, a lot of times in bodybuilding, we've been taught that more is better. Well, Fred taught me that better is better. You know, and if you can achieve it in this way, then do it. But you have to first be able to set your ego aside. Everybody want to say, oh man, I squatted 500 pounds. You know, I can do it for reps. You know, it's an ego thing. Right. Whereby, man, wait a minute, why are you using 150 pounds on squats? Or why are you using 200 pounds on a bench press when you know you can do 500? Well, if I'm able to stimulate fast twitch fiber development with 200 pounds, why should I use 500? Which over a long period of time, maybe not that long, it's going to rip my shoulders apart. So, but if you don't understand the science, that's what you do. And if you can't keep your ego to the side, then you will do the latter. You will want to be the strongest guy in the gym. And again, more is not better. Better is better.
You know, you've also talked many times in the past about how a lot of bodybuilders are confused and they train like power lifters. And we got guys, you know, I see Instagram. I don't know how much Instagram you look at, but every day I see guys deadlifting 600-700 pounds, barbell rowing 400 pounds, horrible form. Dumbbell rows, 200-pound dumbbells, you know, horrible form. And they don't have much in the way of exceptional back development. I wouldn't look twice at any of their backs. You had the greatest back of your era, and correct me if I'm wrong, but barbell rows, you rarely went over 185.
Exactly.
Dumbbell rows, you rarely went over 75-pound dumbbell.
Exactly.
But you went all the way up and you got the contractions on every rep. And I don't know if you did you deadlift at all?
I only did stiff deadlifts for hamstring.
You didn't do deadlifts for back.
So and when even doing stiff deadlifts, that was normally around maybe 200 pounds.
Yeah.
Yeah. But, and again, I learned from some of the greatest, my movements, the different form and technique. I learned from, you know, the people who came before me. You know, I watched Arnold's routine. I watched Franco, particularly Robbie Robinson. I always wanted to look like Robbie. You know, so you look at Robbie today, the age of 70, guess what? Robbie is still training with no injuries. Can you see? He knows something.
I think he's like 72 now.
Yeah, 72. So seems to me,
ripped.
Exactly. Seems to me, you want to think about the longevity of staying in the game, achieving your goal to be the very best that you can be in the way of your physique. Beautiful physique, a physique that's controlled, that's seasoned. When I say seasoned, as we talked before, Ron, it took me, when I won my first Olympia, I weighed 243. My last Olympia, I weighed 254 in 1981. So we're talking about 9 years, 10 years, something like that. Yeah. But it took me that long to put on 11 pounds of quality. Kept my waist, kept my vacuum. You see, so you see these microwave physiques now. Yeah, they want to lift 1 million pounds to get big, but there's no quality in it.
I mean, I don't know how familiar you are with the whole Kuwait situation, but guys go over there to get big fast. And like spring of 2017, Brandon Curry came back from about 6 months there. He put on 30 pounds of new muscle, or close to it, 25 or 30 pounds after already having been a pro for almost 10 years at that point. And that's what everybody wants to go to Kuwait, because they have a reputation of putting a lot of muscular body weight on people in a very short time. But I don't know the long-term
ain't nothing quick is good like that. You know, I think when you'll get to see the results of that, and I don't think it's going to take a lot of years. Just in a few years to come, you're going to get to see results, because you know, anything that happens overnight or too fast cannot be that good for your body. It cannot be. You know, I like longevity. After the game, you know, I don't want to spend all of my wealth trying to regain my health when this thing is over. I feel good. I got me a nice insurance policy, but I'm not going back and forth to the doctor on healthcare issues relating to my joints or my kidney or the other different things that keep me alive. Yeah. So I want to think long term about my health. I want my wealth and I want my health, because your health is your wealth. You'll think more about that when you start to get 45 and 50, as I am.
I mean, do you think that's really part of it? Is a lot of these are young guys, they're in their 20s and 30s, and they can't even really think that far ahead to one day I'm going to be 58, 60 years old. What am I going to feel like? How am I going to be moving around? What's my day-to-day comfort level going to be at that time if I'm putting 30 pounds of muscle on every year now and deadlifting 800 pounds and squatting 700 pounds and benching 500 pounds on a regular basis? You know, I don't think they think that far ahead.
No, obviously they don't, because one of the worst things is to linger for 20 years, you know. And in a lot of cases, you're going, maybe I should be dead, because I'm spending $10,000 a month on medical care, you know. And how can my wife and my kids survive? And here I am now, a burden to my family because of bad choices. Yeah. So I'm glad I made good ones. I'm healthy. I can, I'm playing with my grandkids, so I can get out there and play some hoops if I want to. I don't do that too often, though, but I got my health.
Hey, how many grandchildren do you have now, Lee?
I have a beautiful granddaughter named Reagan. She's beautiful. Joshua's daughter, him and Jennifer. And Josh have another little lady on the way. Oh, wow. She'll be born sometime in December. Okay. I told him to have somebody change his diaper when he get old.
And Olympia has no children yet?
No, not yet. We haven't found the right suitor for her yet.
But you guys have the whole family working on the Lee Haney games, it looked like from the website. Oh
yeah, we do. Josh and his wife, Olympia, she's an event planner. That's what she does anyway. And, okay. And Shirley's she's a chief financial officer, so she handles all the money. I'm just the mayor. I just walk around and wave and say, hello, how's everybody doing? You guys feeling well, you know?
Well, without your name on the show, I don't know how well it would do, right? So.
Well, you know something, we are so excited about this event, you know, the fact that, we can bring the bodybuilding community something first class. We can also make Mr. Jim Mannion proud of this event, something that the NPC can hang a hat on and say, hey, this is first class. And the athletes, when they come, they have an experience we feel like no other. We're here to make them feel good. I have skin in the game. I bleed athletes' blood. So I want to make sure they enjoy themselves.
Before we stop talking about the Olympia, I want to mention a couple other divisions. This is going to be Flex Lewis. This will be theoretically his 7th win if he wins, and he's already announced that he's retiring from the 212 division. He's kind of leaving it open as if he might move up to the open class. But you've seen this 212 division grow over the years. Back in your day, you didn't need it. There was no 212. You had guys. Muhammad Makawe, I think, was about 160 pounds.
Oh yeah.
Lee Labrada was about 180 pounds.
Right.
Frank Zane won 3 Mr. Olympias at about 185. As the 212 went on, I'm sure when it started, you wondered why we needed another division, because back in your day, all the pros were up there in one big group and everything was fine. In perspective now, years and years later, do you think it was a good idea to have this 212 division to give the shorter and lighter guys their own showcase?
Well, from what I've seen from Flex Lewis, I thought he should have been on the Mr. Olympia stage, period. Anyway, Flex has a complete package. Yeah. I mean, out of this world package. And as far as flaws are concerned, I don't see any flaws with Flex Lewis, period. Well. I love his shoulder span, lat span, his legs, everything fits, period. As he did with Muhammad Makawe, but I saw weaknesses in Muhammad. His back was weak. He wasn't a Flex Lewis. Right. And if he, if he did as well as he did, he gave me my first European spanking, when I did the first Olympia in 1983. Right. So I think it's a good class to continue to maintain. I like that. But I think I think there should be a limit to how many times you can compete in that class.
Wow.
You know, before you go up to the next level. It's almost like a novice to the open Mr. Olympia. That's sort of why I see it. You know, it flexes.
The argument from these guys is they don't feel they can get a fair look. Say if a guy's 5'3", you know, like Jose and Ahmad Ashkenani, who were second and third place last year, they're both right around 5'3", and they're heavy. They're competing at between 205 and Ahmad. I think they're right around the limit. They're over 200 pounds, but they don't, you know, they don't feel on the Mr. Olympia stage they would probably get a good look because they're so much shorter and so much lighter than, you know, these guys who are 250, 260, or Rami's 300 pounds. You know, do you think they would get a good look?
Well, you know something? If the goal is still about symmetry, balance, presentation, they should get a good look.
Okay.
I think we've struggled in trying to maintain our identity. That's why a classic physique had to be created, you know, because everyone is not going to look like Rami, but at the same time, Rami is who Rami is. At the same time, Dexter is who Dexter is. So you got two different physiques.
Yeah.
So when you look at it in that way, I would say, yes, let's keep the other Mr. Olympia class. They had it during Franco and Arnold's era. And apparently they saw the importance of bringing it back. So there is a place for it. But I think the place for Flex Lewis, he has everything. He's a giant. He's like a Danny Padilla.
Yeah.
He can go to the next level. You know, and Flex, I think if you won the Olympics many times as he has, he's proven a point time and time and time again. Hey, I can stand up there with the very best of them.
Well, the thing is William Bonac, who we talked about a little while ago, he started off in the 212 division, and he moved up to the Open, and he was third place in the world last year to only two, Phil Heath and Big Ramy. So
there you go.
I'm sure Flex would do just fine. You know?
Oh, he's going to do excellent, you know, because the judges, they judge what they see. Yeah. And if you're the picture of what they're looking for, then guess what? You're gonna get it. And Muhammad was during my era. Chris Dickerson was. There was a lot of bigger guys even during Chris Dickerson time. Frank Zane time. Frank was beautiful physique. I mean, absolutely beautiful. And his ability to showcase his physique was just out of this world. So these guys had something special that separated themselves from the pack. Lita Bravo, the same way. I mean, they separated themselves from the pack. And if you're not able to do that, then no, you're not going to fare well. But if you can hang, you can go as far as your heart's desire.
So the last division I want to talk about is what you just talked about. You just mentioned the classic physique division. This is the third year that the IFBB has had this division in existence. This is the third time it's been at the Olympia. And we've had two champions so far, Danny Hester and Breon Ansley. So Breon's going to be trying to defend his title this year. But, you know, this is a division that when it started, a lot of us were kind of scratching our heads wondering, what was it really going to be about? Was it necessary? Was it going to last? You know, we've had a couple years to sort of digest it and think about it. So what do you think about classic physique now? Is there a place for it? Where do you see it?
Look, man, I would rather call it classic bodybuilding.
Yeah.
Period. I don't like the name of classic physique. It's classic bodybuilding. That's what it is. Right. It's taking bodybuilding back to what it originally was when I fell in love with it. It's Frank Zane, you know, with a small waist, vacuum. It's Lee Haney with a 31-inch waist, a vacuum. It's Robbie Robinson. It's, you know, it's Boyer Cole. It's Lita Brado. It's who we were. You know, I think it should be classic bodybuilding, not called classic physique. Physique is physique. And maybe that name may change, but I love the category. I think it's totally necessary. I think it sort of put things back in perspective as to where we're going. And that category, believe you me, is going to continue to grow. Because one thing that's different about it than just regular physique is that you got to have great wheels. You can hide the wheels on the shorts. So which gives, you know, and again, it gives the other guys like businessmen. You know, I've had some athletes compete in regular physique, and they loved it. The abs, the nice beach look, you know, and hey, that's the masses, and everybody wants a place to showcase their hard work. So I love the fact that you got regular physique, you got classic physique, then you got bodybuilding. That is fantastic. Well thought out, a great plan. Females category, you got bikini, you got well, first you got physique, then you have figure, then you have bikini, you got your fitness deal. So all of those things are fantastic, and it's something for everybody. So the powers that be in the bodybuilding world is doing a fantastic job.
Now, you know, I think when you speak, Jim, man, you know, the people listen. So here's a couple things about classic physique I want your opinion on. First of all, the shorts. Would you rather see these guys wear trunks, you know, not necessarily the G-string type trunks that like Dexter and Phil Heath wear, but more the trunks like you wore back when you were winning?
Yeah. I like that because the other shorts, they're cool and everything, but we're still talking about classic bodybuilding. You know,
okay, and the other thing,
they should have posing briefs, but not G-strings.
And they also don't hit all the poses. They don't hit a front or a back lat spread. They don't hit a side tricep.
I think it should be a lat spread.
Yeah,
I do. It's classic bodybuilding. That's what it is.
I never got that. I mean, it's a pose that showcases shoulder and back width and a small waist, a great V taper, and the flaring thighs, the X frame. Why would you not have that pose?
Exactly, because the guys who were the classic physiques, even you talking Vince Gironda, you know, physiques like that. They, you know, Larry Scott, they showed all of those different poses. Yeah. So I think eventually they'll be implemented and added back in. I think to give it a good start, and I know that you know, they wanted to sort of see how everything works first. Now it's working great. Now you see a guy like that do a lat spread and he's got a vacuum. Man, that's cool.
I mean, we think of, I always think back to that one picture, I think Mike Neville took it, where you had the jeans on and it was in New York City, right? Where you're hitting the front lat spread.
Right, yeah.
Steam coming out of a grate or something, right?
The manhole, yes.
Yeah, that's probably one of your most iconic pictures ever.
That's right.
That was a front
lat. That's a classic physique.
Right.
Small waist, nice tapering shoulders, great lats. That's beautiful. Yeah. So I wouldn't want to deny athletes that opportunity, you know, to showcase that. That's icing on the cake.
So the other thing about classic that we talk about a lot is, as far as maybe could be changed, hopefully maybe some people want it changed, some people don't, is the weight limits for every height that you want. You know, if you're 5'8", you can't weigh more than this. If you're 5'11", this is as much as you're allowed to weigh. They have weight limits for every height. And that's supposedly to keep the guys smaller so they don't start just getting bigger and bigger and becoming as big as the guys in the Open Olympia stage. But if you're judging it by the ideals of classic bodybuilding with the small waist and a nice shape, symmetry, presentation, do you think that they really need a weight limit or not?
Well, you know something, you sort of, I think to have some type of controls is important because, as you know, when there was no control of bodybuilding, look what happened.
Yeah.
So, I think
broke loose.
I think you have to have some kind of controls, you know, waist, shoulder differentiation, weight. You know, you have to in some kind of way because listen, when you look at Remy got a small tapering waist. Look how wide his shoulders are. I mean, it looked like he got a 31-inch waist. His shoulders about 60 inches wide.
His waist is probably, I don't want to speculate, but I'm sure it's a lot larger than 31 inches.
Exactly, but it takes on the appearance.
He's 6 feet wide.
Exactly.
Okay, Lee. Well, thank you for all that. Let's wrap it up with make sure everyone knows where to get your book, Fit at Any Age. Barnes & Noble, anywhere else books are sold, pretty much?
Yeah, we got it at Barnes & Noble's. It's on Amazon, Kobo, Kindle. All of those places have it. Now, I'll be at the Olympia this year. I have my own booth there, the International Association of Fitness Science. So, guys, make sure you come by and see me. We'll be signing some of the books there as well as promoting the certification. Plus, we have T-shirts and all that great stuff available, signing photos. So come by there. You can get them signed and autographed. But you can also go to leehaney.com and get the books there, and also connect with the different links through, with Barnes and Nobles and so forth there. But you can only get an autographed signed book when you go through leehaney.com or come and visit me at the booth at the site. So we're gonna have a great time, at the Olympia coming up. We have a great time.
I might have to stop by with my camera crew and have a little chat. Who knows?
All right, man.
And also October 26th and 27th is the Lee Haney Games at the
Right.
Georgia International Congress Center in College Park. That is information available at leehaneygames.com.
That's right.
So if you're an NPC competitor and you want to be in an amazing show and you get to meet Lee Haney, that's where you want to go.
There you go. Get to see Team Haney there. Come out and enjoy yourself.
All right. Well, Lee, thank you so much for your time, Lee. I'll be looking forward to seeing you in Las Vegas as always. You're one of the guys. I say this all the time. Is there's few guys that I speak to in this industry where I always just feel better. I feel like uplifted after I talk to them. You were one of them, sir. Something good about it. You always lift up my mood. So thank you for that.
Thanks, Ron. I appreciate you, brother.
All right. So everybody, thank you for watching the Ronline Report with Lee Haney. Please subscribe to the Muscular Development YouTube channel, and we'll catch you next time.